Hey, hi. In this video, we're going to do a lab session on Google Gemini AI model, which is a multi-model, right? So to go to that particular, the Gemini multi-model page or to the parent company, you need to go to the Google DeepMind. So search Google DeepMind. You're going to see a company site called Google DeepMind. So Google DeepMind is a subsidiary company of Google, and they are actually doing lots of research in the field of AI, and they have produced like a astonishing lots of models, and lots of products are been getting generated through this company. And recently they have introduced a product called Gemini, right, which is basically, as I said, it's a multi-model. So when you say multi-model, it has its own definitions, and Google has defined that, yeah. And that's the reason they call themselves as welcome to the Gemini era. So basically Gemini is built from the ground up for multimodality, reasoning seamlessly across text, image, video, audio, and code. So what does this multimodality is? So till now we were aware of few AI technologies which is generally meant for generative AI type, like ChatGPT, Llama 2, right? DALI 2, right? So there are examples of generative AIs, right? And they are capable of doing the particular job. Say like ChatGPT is taking input from a user, and it generates the content, in the sense it generates the text as a content based on the questions. Similarly, DAL E2, it takes the, it actually takes the command as an input and generates the image out, based on the command inputs, right? So basically what is happening here is, they are actually doing one task, right? But Google has innovated some concept called multimodality, in the sense they have actually clubbed multiple things in a single model, and they call them, they call it as a multimodality. So basically what happens is, so not only just like a text generation or text to image generation, not like that, but they have given hybrid of that, in the sense you can ask the question by pointing to an image, you can ask questions through an audio clip, you can ask questions with the video, or you can do a combinations of all these. Okay, so that's the reason this is like thing to anything, right? So that is the speciality of the multi-model, right? I was talking about giving you a real context of what is anything to anything, in the sense command to image, image to command, right? And then the and then you can give a combinations of image and command, you're going to get the output as well, right? So for example, let's see anything to what is they mean by anything to anything here, right? So Gemini is natively multi-model, which gives you the potential to transform any type of input to any type of output, right? So for example, so here they are actually giving you overview about how Gemini AI, Gemini can generate a code based on a different input, right? So for example, say here is the one, Gemini can generate a text and image combined one, in the sense they're giving the image of these two balls, and then could you show me, so and they also, he's also typing the questions, right? And they're also basically they are showing the image and also giving the the text as a which, right? So basically this is what it happening here. I'm going to show you that how to do it in a code in a minute, so stay tight as well. So likewise, I'm going to walk you through the other options that they have already experimented. And there are also, they have integrated a video which is very interesting one, which I'm going to play right away. So basically let's see and how does how does this performs. Okay, I'm going to make it large. If this video is available on the in the YouTube, you can actually do that. Yeah, but for now,
It
as
looks
part
like a
of my
bird
video,
to
right?
me.
What if I add this?
The bird is swimming in the water. It has a long neck and beak. It is a duck.
Yes.
A duck is a type of waterfowl in the
Right,
family
so
Anatidae.
basically they are
Ducks are
giving the
closely
picture as an
related
input,
to
and
geese and
they and they're also asking the, in the sense here they are not only giving the picture as a um, not only giving the picture as the question or as the input, but they're also giving the voice or the audio as an input along with the picture, and asking the questions to the model, and the model is answering it, right? So that is what is, yeah. So likewise, there are like a high level assessment is also being done by the experts at a different level, right? How does this multi-model is unlocking the insights of a scientific literature, how it is helping to generate the competitive code as well, and processing the raw audio, basically how does it helps us to process the raw audios, right? And then you have the mathematical level analyzing. This is how you can use this model for mathematical and physics analyzing purpose or reasoning purpose. And then it also reasoning about user intent to generate the B scope experiences as well, right? They have created, and this is they experimented that model against these ladders, right? And trust me, it has been, it has also exceeded the expectations. You can watch through this video, right? All right, so with that note, this is very quick brief note about this model. Now let's go to the hands-on experiencing, right? So how do we, how do you feel that this is how it works? Okay, for that case, they have created a site called ai.google.dev. So if you click on this, say ai.google.dev, so there you have an option called get an API key in a Google AI Studio, right? So let's experiment this, Google Gemini AI in the Google AI Studio. So Google AI Studio is also an open source a tool that we can use and experiment these models. Okay, so in this case, we're going to experiment only two models. One is Gemini Pro, right? And if I can show you those two models, Gemini Pro and Gemini Pro Vision, right? So basically, if you see Gemini Pro, it's the best model for scaling across a wide range of tasks, and the Gemini Pro version is for best for image understanding to handle the broad range. In the sense, this basically takes only the the textual inputs and generates the content. This Gemini Pro Vision, it takes the image plus text as an input and generates the the content, and it generates the answers, right? Remember that the Gemini AI is also a type of generative AI where it is been categorized as a multi-model because it's a combination of multiple type of generative AI. In the sense, you can input text, you can generate image, you can give the combinations of video, audio, text, image, and you can get the input. Okay, that's the reason it's a unique in the market. Now let me show you how to do this in the Google AI Studio in UI, and then later we're going to show how to do that in the Python code basically. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to show you right now. So let's go to the first one, that is Gemini Pro one, and let's ask a question saying like explain quantum theory. Let me explain like very simple question. Explain Python coding to a 2 years kid, right? Let's see how does it answers. Okay, so explain Python coding to 2 years kids. Okay, this is very basic question that I'm going to ask here, right? And here there is a run button, and I'm clicking on that, and it is actually generating the content which will actually explains a kid, right? So what is Python coding, right? Nowadays, in the world, everybody is learning the coding, so there is no looks like ahead of the time. In the future time, even a kid of 2-3 years can start coding as well. So that's a new era. So you see that how does it has explained Python coding to 2 years kid, right? Imagine you have a magic friend named Python who can help you to create amazing things on the computer. See how how does the the vocabulary that it uses to teach a kid. Okay, so Python understands a special language that we can use to tell it what to do. The language is made up of. Okay, so you see that it has generated very huge amount of information that is easily readable by the consumer side, in the sense the audience, in the sense based on the age of the audience, the content that it has returned is varies. Okay, so for example, say if I ask, let's see, if I delete this, and let's say instead of 2 years kids, let's ask for a programmer, explain the Python coding to a computer scientist. Yeah, so we'll say computer scientist, and let's see how does it generate the content now. So basically, based on the type of question that you answer, it actually differs the question, right? So now the content response, in the sense the response of this prompt is changing. You see, if you read the first line, Python is a high level interpreted programming languages created by Guido Rossum in the 1980s. You see that so these words are getting changed because here we are actually asking for computer scientist. Yeah, and this is what the response is being all about. Okay, so likewise, let's switch to the another model called Gemini Pro version. Okay, so in the Pro Vision, basically, as the model name is Gemini Pro Vision, in the sense you can ask the questions with using the image as well. right? So to give the image as an input, they have given a space here. Since this is a UI, you can choose the image. So for example, say I will just tab, whatever it is coming, I will just tab it. So you see that, I'm giving an input of this image and describe what the people are doing here, right? So here there are two inputs. One is image, the other one is the a prompt, in the sense a command prompt, the question as well. Yeah. And let's run this. So this is basically, playing cricket. Okay. So in the sense it's a game. Two people are playing a game called cricket. Okay. Let's see what does it explains. I'm just expecting that, it should have a cricket. You see that two men are playing a cricket. The man in the foreground is a batsman, and the man behind the background is a wicket keeper, right? So this is exactly the answer, right? So now you have seen that, how does this the Gemini AI model is performing for generating the text with using text as an input, and generating the text with using text plus image as an input, right? Now let's see how to do this in a programming, that is with using code, right? To do that, Google AI Studio provides you a capability called get code. So if you click on the get code, there are like a vast variety of options that you can choose in to invoke this Gemini AI through the APIs, through the program called Python. Okay, so or whatever your favorite is, you can invoke this Gemini AI through curl, JavaScript, Python, Android, Swift, right? So here we're going to explore it with using the Python. So I went to the get code and copied this command. Okay, and that I have kept in a my VS code. So I already created a file called Google underscore Gemini AI, and I have created two files called text.py and image.py. So text.py is a Gemini Pro version, and the other one is Gemini Pro for Vision. Okay, so Gemini Pro is for basic one, the Gemini Pro Vision is for image one. Okay, so I have created two files which you can use it again. So let's explore the first one, that is a text one. So in the text one, before you use this the Gen AI or the Gemini AI, you need to install a model called pip install Google-generative AI. So let's install that. So I have already done it. So you need to do a pip install Google Generative AI, right? So like this. So which means that, which if this comes, which means that, your system is installed with the generative AI, that is Google Generative AI Python module. Okay, that is the first step that you need to do, and the rest all I'm going to walk you through right away, right? So here we are actually importing Google.generative AI as Gen AI, and from that Gen AI we are actually calling a function called configure, and in the configure you're going to use a API key. Now you might be wondering, how did I get this API key? To get the API key, you need to go to the there is a button in the Google AI Studio. There is a button called get API key. So click on OK, and then so then you can create a API key from the existing project, right? So for example, say I'm just going to go here, and so what is this create API key in the existing project? In the sense, to use this Google AI Studio, you need to have a GCP account, that is Google Cloud account. Yeah. So Google Cloud account, you can create it. If you want to know more about how to create a Google account, you can watch it my further previous videos where I have shown about what is Google Cloud and how to create an account and all. So in that Google Cloud account, you need to have a context called project, and you need to choose that project. So in my case, I have chosen cloud-quicklabs, and then click on a create generative API, create a new API key, which I clicked on, and it has given me this API key. And that API key, I'm using it in this program, right? And that is what my API key is. Don't worry, I'm going to delete this API key because I have exposed this. All right. And then in the setup model, in the sense, what is this, setup is all about? In the sense, every model has a parameter to set up, so that, according to that, the model will be giving the response. In the sense, the response of the model is controlled through a certain settings of the model, and generally called as a configurations, right? Those generation configurations are being set in the form of a dictionary with the parameter keys called temperature, top P, top K, maximum output tokens, right? And then you have a safety settings, okay, which I like most. In the sense, Google has its own setting called safety settings, in the sense safety settings, which is highly recommended in while consuming the AI technologies. So that's the reason they have a safety settings at a different category level, that is harm category, harassments, harm category, hate speech, harm category of sexual explicits, harm category of dangerous content, right? So all these we are actually threshold, we are blocking. In the sense, We are blocking anything of category harassment, and threshold of above medium and above the medium basically will be blocked. Okay, that is what the safety setting is all about, and this is common for even for vision model as well. Now after that we have what you do is we are actually just invoking generative model, right? And the generative model, you see that in the model we are actually giving name of the model, right? So what is the name of the model that we are getting is nothing but from here. If you go back to this one, to your workspace, and in the workspace you see that Gemini Pro, and then you have a Gemini Pro Vision, and that's what been given here, right? And then the generation configuration, right? So generation configuration is nothing but this, and then you have a safety settings. So safety settings is the new fine tuning that you can do, add it on your generative AI model, which will actually controls the output of the model, right? And after that we are actually so this is what basically constructing the model configurations, right? And after that we are actually giving another parameter called prompts, as I was talking more about, in the sense every AI model are taking an input to run the to actually generate something, and that input is generally called as a prompts, right? Prompt is nothing but input that you put it in the form of a question, in the form of a text, or in the form of an image, right? And that is the prompt. In the sense the prompts are an a list here. So basically, and in that list is just list of strings, basically, in the sense you are actually giving a list of strings. So as of now I'm giving only one question, that is what is quantum computing, and then from the model we are actually generate the content. In the sense this is a generative AI, so we are actually want to generate some contents based on this based on this prompt input. All right, and then let's see how does this model does now. I'm going to run this in front of you now. So to run that, what I do is I'm going to click on a run button like this, and let's see what does it tells. I'm asking a very difficult question: what is quantum computing, which was in a news recently, a year back, and there were like so many things are happening around the quantum computing. So quantum computing is like a basically a high level milestone being achieved in the computing level. You see that it has explained, in the sense it has generated the content explaining about what is quantum computing, yeah. And indeed, so basically this is exactly like how other chat gpt, how other the contemporary the models like chat gpt, bard, or the any other llama 2, so all these, how the models are were working in this the command prompt based inputs. So based on the command prompt inputs, it is generating the content. That is, content here is a text, right? And you see the text is being given here, and which is, if I can read the first line, that is, quantum computing is a cutting edge field of the computer science that involves the use of the quantum mechanical phenomena such as superpositioning and entanglement to perform the computation. Okay, that is something very beyond my understanding as of now. All right, so basically, this is what the content is being generated for model name Gemini Pro. Now let's go to the another step for Gemini Pro Vision, which is basically a kind of a hybrid input, in the sense hybrid prompt. You are actually giving image and text as input in the prompt, and it is generating the response, which actually solves a new problems. Okay, so for that one, since we are now experimenting a model called Gemini Pro Vision. So we have the model called Gemini Pro Vision. So in this one, I'm using some images. So I'm going to show you what is those images. One is this image. So I have taken very difficult image in the demo itself, right? So here I have taken image of a tire, a car tire, and that car tire has some fracture in it. In the sense there is a small cracks on this, the tire, and we're going to give that as an input to the Gemini AI. And let's see, how does it responds. Yeah. All right, and I have also have another format called PNG file. This is my thumbnail which I created for one of my video. That is how to send an SCS email with using email templates, right? And this is what the picture looks like, but it has explained. So let's see how does the Gemini Pro Vision helps us to detect the content of this image, and helps us to explain that. Yeah. All right, so what I do is now I'm gonna go to the next checks, that is on Gemini Pro Vision. So the so let's explore this. I'm gonna go to with the code. So here we are actually using the same generative AI model, Google generative AI model. So this also needs this model to be installed, like which I have shown you a while ago. And here we are actually using paths, right? From the path library, we are actually importing a path because we need to read the image file, and we are actually importing the generative AI as Gen AI, and then we are configuring that Gen AI with the API key as explained, and then we are actually setting the generation configurations like this, and we have a safety configurations which I explained earlier, which is same here as well. And then we are constructing the model object with using Gen AI generative model, giving the name of the model. So here our name of the model is Gemini Pro Vision. We have a generation configuration and we have a safety configuration settings here. And then with that, this is the block which actually checks if the images exist or not. If the image is not exist, it throws the error, simple, yeah. And then we are actually creating the one array called image parts. What is this image parts? In the sense, it is an the list of dictionaries which actually has a two keys called mimi type, that is nothing but image type, and then the data type, yeah, basically. In the sense, it actually wants to know what is the image you are putting, and convert that image into a binary and keep it as a data, right? So that is what it is actually doing, and that is being constructed as a dictionary of list, right? So basically a list of dictionaries, basically, so we have a list and dictionary as the small item within the list. So it's a list of dictionaries. So image parts is taken as a list of dictionaries of images, and then after that we are actually using the prompt parts. In the sense, this is the, like, the change that occurs in the Gemini Pro Vision model, right? So here what we are doing is we have a list of what we have a list of images, and list of in the form of dictionaries. Each dictionary represents one image, right? So that image part is being given as an input here, and then we are actually inputting the command that is tell about this image, tell me about this image, yeah. So that is our next question. In the sense, now you are giving image and telling, hey, tell me about this image, right? That's what it is happening now. Now let's go to the next question, that is generate the context. In the sense, it's simple, right? So basically we're actually giving this prompt as an input, and that contains the image data and also a prompt asking a question. And let's see how does this model responds now. Okay, so here 009 png file. So what is our png file? If I can explore this, so this is our png file. So I'm going to show you with the both the type of images, that is png image plus jpg image. So png image is this one. Now let me ask you, right? So you are a human, you have a natural intelligence, but if you are asking for a computer, and the computer is been knowledge, in the sense computer is been trained with a model, AI model called Gemini, so basically Gemini multi-model, right? So then how does this multi-model is detecting these content and explaining, right? So a natural intelligence and artificial intelligence, now we are asking to artificial intelligence to explain this. Let's see how does it do. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to run this code now. So what is that? I'm just showing this picture and asking a question, tell me about this, right? So as a human, you can answer this. Let's see, if machine can do that. And that is what so that is what Gemini is doing for us, okay, which is actually great, actually, yeah, right? So this image shows how to use AWS SES email template, right? It has identified the process starts with the user who sends the emails to the SES, which I was explaining. In the sense, looks like, it has hit the bullseye, right? You see here, in the sense, it's actually explaining the content of this image and giving you all the possible options here. In the sense, it is actually explaining the step by step, right? If I go very quickly to create SES and email template, you can use Amazon SES console, right? Blah blah this. Once you have created a Amazon SES email template, then you can use it through APIs, right? SES email also are powerful tools. In the sense, it is actually explaining, giving you the more details around this picture as well, right? So basically now we have analyzed with the PNG file. Now let me go to the another famous files. In the sense, JPG files are like very clear pictures. Yeah. So PNG files and we have a JPG files. Okay, generally JPG files are very clear in nature. So let's see how does it works with the JPG image type. Yeah. So let's do a small changes here. Instead of PNG, I'm going to replace it with the JPG now, so that it points to a JPG image, right? And I'm going to save this now. In the JPG image, I have a very difficult question for the Gemini Pro Vision, right? So this is a tire and it has a crack on it. Let's see how does it explains it. Yeah. So let's see. I'm going to run this code now with the image pointing to the JPG. and let's see, whether it is able to find it as a tire and tries to identify there is a crack in the image. Yeah. All right. So this image shows a damaged car tire, which is exactly what I want. Yeah. And with a large gas in the sidewall. In this image, in the sense, if you see here, it is able to identify that it's this car tire is damaged. Okay, that's what we want the answer. Indeed, it has given this, this as an output. Okay, think that, so this is basically fundamental of analyzing this is a very fundamentally analyzing the Gemini AI model, and it is actually giving the answer to the point. Okay, all right. So with that note, I have shown you how does Google Gemini AI is helping us to see the new era of multimodality, right? All right, so with that note, thank you very much for watching my video. Kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. With that note, thank you. Thanks a lot and see you in the next video.